Greetings, quiet warriors. To you who is listening right now, you have walked through storms inside your own mind that no one else has ever seen. You have carried thoughts that felt heavy like stones, thoughts that whispered fear, doubt, and exhaustion. And even when the world saw you standing, steady on your feet, inside your mind there were days when it felt like you were one step away from collapsing under the weight of your own thinking. You've been strong for too long, and now your mind feels like the enemy. Every human being carries two battles, the one in front of them and the one within them. And the truth is, the one inside your mind is the deadliest. Because while external situations may cause pain, it's your thoughts that keep the pain alive. You can be sitting in a calm room with no enemies, no danger, and still feel fear, regret, anger, and shame. Why? Because the battlefield is in your head. The world outside throws challenges at you, but the world inside decides whether you rise or crumble. A single negative thought starts to grow like poison. I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. They don't really like me. These thoughts start small, but if you don't take control, they spiral and take over your identity. And this is exactly where Stoicism becomes your greatest weapon. Not the Stoicism people misunderstand today, not being emotionless or cold, but the ancient art of understanding your mind so deeply that your thoughts no longer control you. You're not your negative thoughts. You're the observer of them. And if you're the observer, that means you can choose how long they stay. This video is not for someone who wants to feel good for 5 minutes. This is for the warrior who's ready to stop living under the weight of their own mind. This is for the person who's tired of the voice that says, "You're not enough." So today, we will go through 7 brutal Stoic laws that will crush your negative thinking and rewire the way your mind reacts to everything around you. These laws are not soft comfort. They are sharp. They are confronting. They expose the truth you have avoided, so your mind can finally breathe, finally settle, and finally see clearly again. Marcus Aurelius once said you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let this be the doorway, because today you will learn the laws that take you from being trapped in your thoughts to being the one who commands them. Before we begin, pause for a moment and remind yourself why you are here. You want to think better, feel better, and live better. You want a mind that does not attack you at every turn. You want clarity. You want peace. You want power over your reactions. And somewhere deep inside, even if you doubt yourself sometimes, you know you deserve that peace. So breathe. Stay with me. Let these 7 Stoic laws guide you back to yourself. If this message touches you, support the channel, share your thoughts in the comments, and repeat silently, "I am learning to take back my mind." Now we begin. The first brutal Stoic law is that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are not your identity. They are not a reflection of your worth. They are not a prophecy of what will happen. They are simply signals created by a human mind doing what a human mind naturally does. Thoughts are suggestions, not commands. But when negative thoughts arise, they often feel like someone placing a heavy cloth over your head and pulling it down until everything goes dark. You start believing that the thought is you. I am not enough. They do not like me. I will fail again. Something is wrong with me. This is the mind creating shadows and then convincing you that the shadows are reality. Epictetus said it is impossible for a person to learn anything when they believe they already know everything. In the same way, it is impossible to calm your mind when you treat every thought as truth. Stoicism teaches you to observe thoughts as if they are passing clouds moving across your mental sky. When a dark cloud appears, you do not shout at the sky, you watch it drift. You understand that the cloud is temporary. When you learn to observe your thoughts instead of merging with them, you begin to separate who you are from the noise happening in your mind. You become the watcher, not the prisoner. Imagine you are walking down a road and suddenly someone whispers a frightening idea behind you. You would not turn and say, "Yes, this must be true." You would question it. You would ask, where did this come from and does it serve me? This is exactly how you must treat your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius said the soul becomes dyed by the color of its thoughts. This means every thought you take too seriously becomes part of your inner world. But if you let the thought pass, it never stains you. When your mind tells you a negative story, question it. Ask, is this a fact or a fear? Ask, who would I be if I did not believe this thought? Ask, does this thought make me stronger or weaker? The goal is not to eliminate thoughts. The goal is to stop letting them dictate your emotional reality. When you stop merging with your thoughts, negative thinking loses its power. You begin to see clearly. You begin to breathe again. You begin to reclaim the steering wheel of your life. The second Stoic law is to stop arguing with reality. This law may be the one that saves your heart from years of unnecessary suffering. Negativity grows when the mind tries to fight things it cannot change. Something happens that you did not want, and instantly the mind rebels. This should not have happened. Why did life do this to me? Why now? Why me? This resistance does not change the event. It only deepens the emotional wound. Epictetus said it is not the event that disturbs you but the meaning you attach to it. When you argue with reality, you create suffering on top of the pain. Pain is unavoidable. Suffering is the story you add to the pain. Stoicism teaches the principle of accepting the present moment as it is, not as you wish it were. Epictetus said, want events to happen as they do happen. This does not mean you enjoy everything. It means you work with reality instead of fighting against it. Imagine two people standing in the rain. One stands with arms crossed, angry at the sky, complaining with every breath, asking, why is this happening to me? The other accepts that the rain is simply rain. They adjust. They take a step. They move forward. The rain does not choose who deserves to get wet. Life does not pause its storms for anyone. When you stop fighting the things you cannot control, your mind becomes lighter. Your thoughts become clearer. You begin to solve problems instead of drowning in them. This is the power of acceptance. It frees you from the emotional weight of trying to control what was never yours to control. When something goes wrong, tell yourself, I accept what is and I will decide what comes next. This is how you stop negative thinking from spiraling into self-destruction. The third Stoic law is that you should never trust your first emotion. Your first reaction to something is often the one most influenced by fear, ego, insecurity, or past wounds. A friend does not reply to your message and suddenly your mind jumps to, they are ignoring me or I must have done something wrong. But later you find out they were busy or asleep or overwhelmed. The first emotion created a false story. Stoicism teaches you to pause between emotion and action. Marcus Aurelius practiced stepping back from his immediate feelings by reminding himself to zoom out and look at the situation from above. This technique reduces emotional distortion. When a strong emotion rises, do not react immediately. Pause. Let the wave pass. Emotions move through you like a gust of wind. If you make decisions in the middle of that gust, you will fall. Seneca said it is a great thing to know the season when one must refuse. This includes refusing to act on your first emotional impulse. Train yourself to observe the emotion. Instead of saying this emotion is true, say this emotion is present. That small change creates space between you and the feeling. In that space, clarity grows. In that space, you protect yourself from unnecessary regret. Emotional discipline is not suppression. It is wisdom. It is knowing that your first reaction is often the least reliable one. Let the emotion come. Let it peak. Let it settle. Then choose your response with a calm mind instead of a wounded one. This is how you stop your emotional storms from becoming mental hurricanes. The fourth Stoic law is to separate the event from the story you tell yourself. When something happens, your mind instantly adds meaning. You fail at something, and the meaning becomes I am worthless. Someone criticizes you, and the meaning becomes they hate me. You lose an opportunity, and the meaning becomes my life is over. But these meanings are not facts. They are interpretations. And interpretations are driven by fear, insecurity, exhaustion, and old emotional wounds. Epictetus taught that the mind creates suffering by adding unnecessary interpretation to events. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, if something external hurts you, remember it is not the thing itself but your judgment about it that hurts you. Try this simple practice the next time your mind spirals. Take a piece of paper and draw 2 columns. On the left, write the event. Something simple and factual. On the right, write the story your mind is creating. You will be shocked by how much pain comes from the story, not the event. Practice separating what happened from the meaning your mind attaches to it. When you learn this skill, your negative thinking loses one of its strongest weapons. Let me give you an example. Someone walks past you without greeting you. The event is just that they walked past. The story your mind may create is they are upset with me, or I must have done something wrong, or they do not like me anymore. None of these are facts. They are guesses fueled by insecurity. When you separate the two, your mind calms. You realize that not everything is about you. Not everything carries hidden messages. Life becomes lighter when you stop interpreting every moment through the filter of negativity. The fifth Stoic law is that your environment shapes your mind more than you realize. Seneca said, associate with people who will help you grow. This is not just about friendships. It is about everything you consume, everything you allow into your mental space. If you surround yourself with toxic people, your thoughts absorb their chaos. If you live in clutter, your mind mirrors the mess. If you constantly take in negative content, your thoughts naturally become darker. If you spend time around people who complain, your mind begins to complain. Your environment is the soil of your mind. You cannot plant seeds of peace in poisoned soil. You must protect your surroundings. You must clean your physical space. You must clean your digital space. You must clean your emotional space. You must let go of people who drain your energy with their negativity, their drama, their constant storms. If someone always leaves you anxious, confused, or empty, they are shaping your mental environment more than any internal thought ever will. Imagine placing a clear glass of water next to an open bottle of ink. Over time the scent spreads. The colors mix. The water becomes cloudy without anyone touching it. This is what happens to your mind when you stay around negativity. It stains you even when you try to stay clear. Protect your mind by protecting what surrounds it. Create a clean environment and your thoughts will naturally follow. The sixth Stoic law is that you are tired, not broken. This is one of the most important truths people ignore. When you are mentally or physically exhausted, the mind becomes a breeding ground for negative thoughts. Small problems feel huge. Simple tasks feel impossible. Normal emotions feel overwhelming. You start thinking something is wrong with you, when in reality you simply need rest. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the body and mind must work together, and when one is worn out, the other collapses. Many times what you call negativity is just fatigue. You are not failing. You are not weak. You are tired. And tired minds cannot think clearly. Seneca said the one who needs the least is the richest. When you allow yourself to rest, you stop craving constant productivity. You stop expecting yourself to operate like a machine. You show yourself compassion. Think of a phone running at 2% battery. The screen dims. The system slows. Everything becomes difficult. You would not say the phone is broken. You would say it needs charging. Yet when your mind is at 2%, you tell yourself something is wrong with you. Fatigue creates illusions. It makes everything look darker than it really is. If you rest, negativity loses its voice. If you sleep, your mind resets. If you breathe deeply, clarity returns. You cannot heal negativity while running on empty. So give yourself the grace to rest. Recovery is not laziness. Recovery is maintenance for the mind. The seventh Stoic law is that gratitude destroys negativity. Gratitude is not just saying thank you. Gratitude is the ability to shift your attention from what is missing to what is already here. Negativity narrows your vision until you only see what is wrong. Gratitude widens it again, reminding you of the things that make life worth living. Marcus Aurelius wrote that when you rise in the morning, remind yourself of the gift of being alive. Epictetus said if you want to improve, be content with what you already have. Gratitude is a weapon. It interrupts the mind when it starts spiraling. It brings you out of fear and back into reality. You cannot feel lack while focusing on abundance. You cannot feel despair while noticing blessings. You cannot drown in negative thinking while reminding yourself of the good that still exists. Practice gratitude like a ritual. Each night ask yourself what 3 things today brought me light. At first your mind may resist. But over time, gratitude rewires your brain. It strengthens the neural pathways that produce hope, clarity, and resilience. Gratitude is not denial. Gratitude is direction. It tells your mind where to focus so you do not get lost in darkness. These 7 Stoic laws are the pillars that support a powerful mind. They teach you to separate who you are from what you think. They teach you to accept life instead of resisting it. They teach you to pause before reacting. They teach you to separate fact from story. They teach you to shape your environment intentionally. They teach you to rest without guilt. They teach you to fight negativity with gratitude. And above all, they teach you that you have control over the way your mind responds to life. You may not be able to stop every negative thought, but you can stop letting them lead your life. You may not be able to control what happens outside you, but you can control how you interpret it. The battle inside your mind is the battle that decides your future. And Stoicism gives you the armor and the sword you need. Epictetus said no person is free unless they govern themselves. This is the heart of everything you just learned. Freedom is not the absence of problems. Freedom is the mastery of your reactions. Freedom is the ability to stand in the middle of chaos and choose peace. Freedom is knowing that you can observe a negative thought and let it pass without surrendering to it. You are doing better than you think. You are growing even when you feel stuck. You are healing even when your thoughts get loud. You are learning to separate yourself from the storms inside you. Every moment you practice these Stoic laws, you strengthen your inner fortress. Your mind becomes your ally, not your enemy. So as you leave, repeat this affirmation silently. My mind is my strongest weapon. Continue training your mind daily. Continue watching this channel for guidance. Like, share, comment, and help others find the strength you are building right now. And remember, you are not alone in this. You are walking the same path the Stoics walked, a path of resilience, clarity, acceptance, and inner mastery. Your mind is the battleground. Stoicism is the strategy. And you are becoming the warrior who wins. This is Stoic quiet strength, power in silence.